All right, Shalom. First off, I would like to give all glory, honor, and infinite praises unto Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai Ba'ashem, Rachai HaKodash, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, the teaching rule well. Peace, love, salutations to the hopeful elect. I'm the brother Hamayan, out of GMS Columbus, Georgia camp. And before I play this video, I will be using this video as a fair use. Disclaimer, I'm not using this video for monetary gain. It's only for educational purposes. Once again, this video I'm using is only for educational purposes only. Right, so let me get right into it before I hit this presentation.
Who are not in connection with the politicians. What can we do? What on the ground level? I'm talking about from step one, whether it's pick up a phone or go to this website or stop supporting this. What exactly can we do to change?
People need to be educated. And Martin Luther King's time, he was educating people and saying, 45% of every paratrooper movement unit in Vietnam is black. And, today, if you're not a sports star or a rap star like yourselves or hip hop stars, but living the easy life like yourselves, if you're,
Is that what this is? I missed it completely.
what is your choice if you're in this neighborhood? And I admire you so much because you told me that you never took a drug. And that coming from where you came from with all the challenges, that takes incredible character. That you are a man of immense character. So
Thank you.
It's true.
Yeah, it is, but thank you.
And so, but what is available to a kid who wants to escape, this life?
Right.
Well, if you're not an NBA athlete, and if you're not a hip hop star, your main choice is the military. If you don't want to go into a gang, so you go into the military because they're going to pay for your education, they're going to pay for your housing, they're going to give you a health care program. But the fix is that you got to go kill people, and that is going to cripple you.
Yeah, I have family members who kind of struggle with that. They've been in the military for years. They had to work these operations where when they come home, all they do is drink.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And they've got, PTSD.
Yeah.
The same kind of drugs that these kids are looking to escape. These vets are coming home looking to escape. They don't want to think about what they just got. Who's to blame? I think so many more
See, this is why I want to play this video, right? And I know I'm pressed for time, but hey, man, Lord willing, this be edifying. But just check it out.
presidential and candidates period across the map would get so much further if you would tell us this is the guy who made the decision to do X, Y, Z, A, B, and C, 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
Or these three guys. Like when you tell us about somebody putting a plant where it shouldn't be.
Right.
Or you tell us about somebody saying, hey, we're going to go do this war regardless of what you think. Or we're going to spend this money.
Falls under the category of
They. Right. Who's they? Who made the decision to say, hey, we're going to spend this much money on the Ukraine instead of feeding people who actually need it? Who's that guy or that girl or that group? Who are they?
It's called the military-industrial complex. And Dwight Eisenhower, who was the general in the commanding general of the Allied forces in World War II, then ran for president. And the day that he left office, January 17th, 1961, my birthday, I was in Washington. 3 days later, I'd watch my uncle take the oath of office. But Eisenhower made the most important speech probably now in American history, where he warned America that if we were not careful, that the military-industrial, this permanent warfare economy and machine that we created would destroy our democracy, would subvert all of the institutions that we've created, would impoverish our country and turn us into a surveillance and security state. And my uncle, he actually tried to make peace with the Soviet Union, but the CIA thwarted him. Alan Dulles ordered him. And my uncle comes in.
What was the guy's name? Who
Alan
ordered him?
Dulles. He's the guy he was the big villain in American history. He's
Alan
the guy
Dulles. Okay.
who turned the CIA into this, machine for overthrowing democracies and turned it against the American people. And he was, he then lied to my uncle about the Bay of Pigs. My uncle said, why are we going down? Because my uncle comes into office and they said, first thing you need to know is we're about to invade Cuba. It's a secret. We've trained 2,000 Cuban troops. They're armed, they're dangerous, and we're going to send them down and we're going to overthrow Castro. And we're going to need U.S. military support. And my uncle said, I'm not doing that. Why? He said, I don't like that Castro has a communist government, but that's Cuba's business. It's not American business. People can choose their own governments and experiment with them. And we don't have to like them, but we don't have the right to change them. And America's not going to, invade a little tiny country. That's a bad look and be a bully. And he said, Dulles and his Joint Chiefs said, well, don't worry, the troops are going to go over there, and we need to carry them to the Navy, and then they'll do all the fighting. And my uncle said, oh, Castro's got 200,000, an army of 200,000 men. How are these 2,000 men going to defeat that army? And he said that the CIA lied to him, and they said, we've infiltrated the army. We know that they're going to rise up and turn on Castro as soon as our men land. And my uncle said, well, you're not using the U.S. military. My uncle didn't want to send them, but the CIA said, if you keep these guys here, they're going to cause terrible trouble because they're armed and dangerous. And they're going to consider you a traitor, and they're going to cause a lot of trouble. So my uncle said, you're not going to use the U.S. military. So they got United Fruit, which owned all the sugar cane before Castro had thrown them out, to give them boats to bring those men over. And the men died on the beach or were captured by Castro. And that's when my uncle said, I want to shatter the CIA in 1,000 pieces and scatter it to the winds. And my uncle then, the CIA wanted him to go into Laos. He refused. They wanted him to go to Vietnam. He refused. They wanted him to go to war in '62 with Russia. Instead, he made friends secretly with Khrushchev. Mm-hmm. They started corresponding with each other, and they both realized that they were surrounded by people who wanted them to go to war. And my uncle kept him out, but then my uncle's killed, almost certainly by the CIA and the military-industrial complex. My father then runs against them. He also gets killed, again, almost certainly by the CIA. The man who actually fired the shots that killed him was a CIA asset, a guy called Eugene Thane Cesar. Lee Harvey Oswald, we now know, was a CIA asset.
Yeah.
And the military-industrial, and we went through all of these traumas. My father's death, Dr. King's death, Malcolm X's death, the Vietnam War, the 9/11, and COVID. Each one pushed us further down the road into a security state, into becoming more a possession of the military. When Mitch McConnell was asked about, why are we spending $113 billion in Ukraine? He said, he said, don't worry about it, because that money is not actually staying in Ukraine. It is going to military contractors. It's just going over, technically going to Ukraine, but we're actually just buying, going to General Dynamics.
Outsourcing. Other
right.
soldiers.
And he said, so it's all American companies, and that's good for our country.
Yeah. And that's
That is their rationale. And they're over there, they're killing Ukrainian kids, so nobody here is going to complain, because nobody hears, we're watching the coffins come home.
Right.
And so it's the perfect war for the military. They get to, re-up their contracts, and those are the people who drive policy in Washington, D.C.
So is Mitch McConnell they?
He's part of them.
Okay.
I mean, Joe Biden is they.
Because when you
Joe
say
Biden is
Joe
that.
Biden
when you
is
say the
is
military industrial complex, I'm still looking for names. Like where my expert
Victoria
opinion.
Nuland, Joe Biden, Anthony Blinken. Those are the people who are driving it. Those
Three
are the
those three names.
yeah, those three names.
Okay. So when you get in, Joe Biden will go and you'll
Yeah.
fire the other guys. Is that the
No,
plan?
yeah, all of those. You know, I will reorganize the CIA, and I'm gonna. We have 800 bases abroad. You know how many the Chinese have? One and a half. The Russians may have one. I don't know, but we have 800. And each one is just a platform for a new war. And the function of the CIA is to provide the military industrial complex. My uncle discovered this with this a pipeline of continual new wars, you know, to fuel that. And that money is being paid by the American middle class. That's why we don't have a middle class left in this country.
Wow, man. All of that news, man. And the Bible talks about this. Habakkuk 2, verse 4. Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by faith. But it says his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him. That's talking about Esau, man. Esau, Edom, Adawam, right? These Idumeans. It says, yea, also he transgresseth by wine, these doctrines, putting everybody up under his philosophies. It says he is a proud man. That's right. Neither keepeth at home because he go around taking everything, man. 800 bases. For what, man? Because Job 9:24, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. That inward thought is that the houses shall continue forever. This man exalt himself like the Most High. You know, he think he ain't going down, but that's his pride. Your pride have deceived you, man. It says, here's a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire is hell, and as death, and cannot be satisfied. Right? It says, but gather unto him all nations and heap upon him unto him all people. Hey, this guy's gonna pay, man. Second Ezra 6:9 for Esau is the end of the world, end of an age, your rulership is going down, and Jacob is the beginning of it that follows, man. It says, shall not all these take up a parable against him and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe, destruction, man, to him that increaseth that which is not his? How long? And to him that laid of himself with thick clay, man, a yacht, man, that debt. This guy's going down, man. So, hey, Lord willing, this was an edifying lesson. I could have went longer, but I feel like I made the point. I had to put that out there, man. Once again, Lord willing, this was an edifying lesson. I would like to close out by giving all glory, honor, and infinite praises unto Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai Ba'ashem, Rachah HaKodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of the great millstone. Peace, Lord, salutations to the hopeful elect. Before I close out, um, I ended off with what is it? Yep, Jeremiah chapter 13:23. Can the Ethiopian change his skin, or the leopard his spots? Then may ye also do good that are accustomed to do evil. And guess what, man? Hey, Esau Edom. Hey, that's how we know that this devil, because he can't change, man. He's that base man, that same spirit that was in the serpent that beguiled Eve, that same spirit that was in Cain, and that same spirit is in Esau Edom. So, hey, shalom.